Found my husband cheating. A Reddit story you won't believe. Jack Harper had always thought of himself as a good man. He was hardworking, responsible, and had built a life that many would envy. A stable job, a beautiful home, and, above all, a loving wife, Emma, who had stood by his side for nearly 10 years. From the outside, their marriage seemed like a fairy tale, filled with love, laughter, and the kind of bond that others would describe as unbreakable. But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to form. Cracks that neither Jack nor Emma could see coming. Jack had always been restless by nature. While Emma found comfort in routine, Jack craved change, excitement, and adventure. He loved Emma dearly, but over the years, he began to feel a growing sense of dissatisfaction, a whispering voice in the back of his mind that told him he was missing out on something, that life had more to offer than just the everyday comfort of a stable marriage. He felt trapped in a cycle that seemed to repeat endlessly. Wake up, work, come home, sleep, rinse and repeat. Emma, on the other hand, was content with the life they had built together. She cherished their quiet mornings over coffee, their evening walks, and the simple joys they shared. To her, these were the moments that mattered, the moments that made their relationship special. She never imagined that Jack could feel differently. She didn't notice at first how he began to change, how his laughter seemed less genuine, how his gaze seemed to wander, how he became more distant, both emotionally and physically. Jack's life took a turn when he met Sophia. She was everything he thought he wanted, exciting, mysterious, and utterly different from Emma. They met at a company event, a fleeting encounter that sparked something within him. Sophia had a magnetic presence, a charm that drew people in, and Jack found himself captivated by her every word. They exchanged numbers under the pretense of discussing work, but both knew there was an unspoken connection between them. Their conversations started off innocently enough, emails about projects, text messages about meetings, but soon they became more frequent, more personal. Jack found himself looking forward to their interactions, eagerly awaiting her texts, her calls, the sound of her voice. He told himself it was harmless, that he was just enjoying a little harmless flirtation. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, he found himself drawn deeper and deeper into Sophia's world. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, Jack and Sophia went out for drinks. The atmosphere was light, the conversation flowed easily, and Jack felt more alive than he had in years. As the night wore on, their laughter grew louder, their touches more frequent, and before he knew it, Jack found himself leaning in, closing the gap between them. He kissed her, and in that moment, he felt a rush of adrenaline, a thrill that had been missing from his life for so long. But with that kiss came a flood of guilt. Jack pulled away, his heart pounding, his mind racing. He knew he had crossed a line he could never uncross. He spent the next few days in a daze, torn between the guilt he felt for betraying Emma and the excitement he felt at the thought of Sophia. He promised himself it would stop, that it was just a one-time thing, but deep down he knew he was lying to himself. Emma began to notice the changes in Jack. He was more distracted, more distant, and his excuses for late nights at work became more frequent. He was always on his phone, hiding his screen whenever she walked by. Emma felt a knot form in her stomach, a sense of unease she couldn't shake. She tried to convince herself it was nothing, that Jack was just busy or stressed. But the doubts kept creeping in, gnawing at her peace of mind. One night, while Jack was in the shower, Emma found herself staring at his phone, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew it was wrong, that she should respect his privacy, but her instincts told her something was off. She picked up the phone, and with trembling hands, she unlocked it. She navigated to his messages, and there they were, a series of texts from Sophia, flirty messages, plans for late-night meetings, words that made Emma's blood run cold. One message in particular caught her eye. "I had such a great time last night. I can't stop thinking about you. Let's do it again soon." Emma felt her world shatter in an instant. Her worst fears had been confirmed. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think. She quickly took screenshots of the messages and sent them to her phone. She needed proof, something tangible to hold on to in this whirlwind of emotions. For the next few days, Emma was in a state of shock. She went through the motions of everyday life, but her mind was consumed by thoughts of Jack and Sophia. She didn't know what to do. Should she confront him? Should she leave? She felt lost, her heart torn between anger and sadness, between love and betrayal. In her desperation, she turned to the internet, to a community of strangers who might offer her some guidance. She posted anonymously on Reddit, in a subreddit called R Surviving Infidelity. Her post was raw, filled with pain and confusion. She wrote, "My husband and I have been married for nearly 10 years, and I just found out he's been having an affair. I feel so lost, so broken. I don't know what to do. Should I confront him? Should I leave? I need advice, please." Within minutes, the responses started pouring in. Some people told her to confront him immediately, to demand the truth. Others advised her to gather more evidence, to make sure she knew the full extent of his betrayal. Some told her to leave, to protect herself from further pain. Emma felt overwhelmed, but also comforted by the fact that she wasn't alone. There were so many others who had walked this path before her, who had faced the same heartbreak and survived. Meanwhile, Jack continued his affair with Sophia, unaware that Emma knew everything. He felt exhilarated, caught up in the thrill of sneaking around, the excitement of a double life. He convinced himself that he could keep both worlds separate, that no one was getting hurt, but he was wrong. One evening, Jack noticed Emma's eyes, red and swollen from crying. He asked if everything was okay, but she just nodded, giving him a weak smile. The guilt began to eat away at him. He found it harder and harder to look Emma in the eye, to pretend that everything was normal. He knew he was living a lie, but he didn't know how to stop. He didn't want to hurt Emma, but he also didn't want to give up the thrill he felt with Sophia. Emma, on the other hand, was growing stronger. She continued to post on Reddit, sharing her journey, her pain, her attempts to rebuild herself after Jack's betrayal. She received countless messages of support, encouragement, and empathy from strangers who had been in her shoes. She began to realize that she deserved better, that she deserved someone who would love her unconditionally, who would never betray her trust. Jack began to notice the change in Emma. She seemed more distant, more guarded. She stopped asking him where he was going or when he would be back. She stopped trying to engage him in conversation, stopped leaving him little notes or planning surprises. He felt a growing sense of dread, a fear that he was losing her. He knew he had to do something, but he didn't know what. One day, Emma sat Jack down at the kitchen table. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were filled with a sadness he had never seen before. She asked him directly, "Jack, is there someone else?" He hesitated, his mind racing for a lie that could save him. But before he could speak, Emma pulled out her phone and showed him the screenshots. His face went pale. His hands trembled. He tried to explain, to minimize, to deny. But Emma cut him off. "I trusted you, Jack. I believed in us, in our future. How could you do this?" Jack fell to his knees, begging for forgiveness, promising he would end the affair, that he would do whatever it took to make things right. But Emma had made up her mind. She told him she needed time, that she needed space to think. She moved into the guest room, refusing to sleep next to him. She felt broken, her trust shattered, but she also felt a strange sense of clarity. She knew she deserved better, and she was determined to find it. Jack tried everything to win her back. He ended things with Sophia, deleted her number, and swore he would never speak to her again. He started going to therapy, trying to understand why he had done what he did, trying to become a better man. He posted his own story on Reddit in a subreddit called "Are A's One After Infidelity?", seeking advice on how to rebuild his marriage, how to regain Emma's trust. But the responses were harsh, unforgiving, a mirror to his own mistakes. He was told that trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild, that the damage he had done was likely irreparable. Emma continued her journey of